Hello everybody. I've just read a really sad article from the Daily Telegraph written by Isabel Oakeshott. She's that journalist that leaked the messages that Matt Hancock had sent. And so I'm just going to, for those of you that don't know, although I think it has been all over the news, but if you're like me and have been trying to keep away from the noise of news, you might not really know the implications and the deep, all that's gone on. So I'm going to pick bits out of this article that I read, and then I'm going to do a spread to find out what's going to go on with Matt Hancock in response to what's been discovered. So Isabel Oakeshott wrote an article in the Daily Telegraph today, 3rd of March. Was it just today, 3rd of March? No, it's 4th of March today. Yesterday was the 3rd of March. The dreadful consequences of Matt Hancock's lockdown scare tactics. Those responsible for Project Fear, which is what he referred to, intending to do, is create Project Fear to make people follow the COVID regulations. Those responsible for Project Fear had no idea about the lives of society's most vulnerable. In 2020, Anne-Marie, a mother, lost her son, her 15-year-old son, called Mark, he killed himself, he hung himself. So they'd been living in Bootle on an impoverished housing estate. Because of all the restrictions, they were not able for them to, the local park had been closed, and his 5-year-old hyperactive brother couldn't be taken to play on the park, and living on this estate where bins were not being emptied anymore and they were on complete shutdown. On this estate in Bootle meant that life was unbearable. She's a single mother, and her kids were cooped up inside. I don't know if they were in an apartment, flat, house, but anyway, it was bad enough to cause her to move to the northeast. But she wasn't able to get Mark enrolled into a new school when the schools went back. So in the autumn, when the pupils went back to school, the authorities said that he'd have to be homeschooled for his GCSEs. As a result of not being able to get out and play football and get exercise, Mark put on weight, and he became increasingly isolated and frightened when the older children returned to school that autumn, and he was at home still fearing all the variants and being affected by all the fearful news items that were coming out on the media, bombarding us on the media. His nails were bitten to the bone, and with each new strain used for Project Fear, Mark became so scared of the virus that he refused even to open his bedroom window. Frightened of the air, he wore a mask everywhere. The frightening news bulletins were obviously really affecting him. The fear of another lockdown was paralysing him, with the Omicron variant announced, which, by the way, is the word Omicron. You find a word in there, it's moronic. With the Omicron variant announced and another fear campaign, he popped out to the shops and never returned. This was on and then on Christmas Eve, 3 days later, he was found hanging from a tree. He was cremated and his ashes were scattered on a beach near Hartlepool. So the end of the article says it's clear that frightening the pants off people, which is what Matt Hancock was leaked to have said in those WhatsApp messages, frightening the pants off people really had truly dreadful consequences. And in the article, she points out that people in leafy suburbs of London, with the money to enjoy themselves at home and in their garden, obviously weren't having the same experience. So there was a real disparity in, what's the word? What's the word? Disparity. There was no equality for different members of the country, society, community. So anyway, I'm going to do a spread, and I want to look up what's the outcome going to be for Matt Hancock. Now, what many of us knew has been exposed. So I'm going to ask the cards. Shuffling the cards. I've got Oracle cards here as well, and I've got the Rider-Waite cards. What is going to be the result of this leak about Matt Hancock's and his cronies' intentions for Project Fear? What is going to be the outcome of this? Is he going to be held to account? Is the whole lid going to come off? What was really going on during that time? An exposure happen. I'm going to shuffle 3 more times. I was going to say, any card that wants to pop out, pop out. Right, this is interesting. Cards that have popped out already. One more shuffle. Ooh! There we are. One more shuffle. Oh! Whoop. Falling out. We'll put these back in. I think there's these two want to stay out. Right, okay. I'm going to show you which cards have fallen out before I do another shuffle for an actual spread. So this fell out first of all. This is where people collaborate. There's more people obviously in this than just Matt Hancock. It was a collaborative project. Project Fear. It wasn't just Matt Hancock. A lot of secrets, dark secrets are going to come out very, very quickly. That's the fastest action card of the Knights, and the Knights are action cards. Very quickly these secrets are going to come out. And this is a messenger. Pages of messengers. Maybe this is the journalist that's written. But this is a leakage. This is the messenger. This is the 9 of Wands. Weariness of the public over this issue. The public have already become very wary over it. I'm going to look more into that. I'm not 100% on what that is right now. And then the Queen of Pentacles, that's another one. Pentacles also represent health, as well as earth and as well as resources. It represents health. So information we were given, messages we were given about our health. Anyway, I'll look more into that. I'm going to switch this off and then do another video for the actual spread. I'm going to cut the cards and spread. Right, I'm back. One final shuffle, 3 more shuffles, and then I'm going to pull the card. And basically I want to know what is going to happen to Matt Hancock. What is the outcome of this as regards Matt Hancock? Lots of questions to ask about this, isn't there? Okay, first, do you remember that came up with Boris? Scrutiny on what his track record has been. Oh, the Hierophant, abuse of power. The context is the abuse of power. Oh my God, that couldn't be more clear. That's the past. King of Wands, just coming up. Conditions speaks for itself, doesn't it? Outcome, Temperance. what's the word? I always forget. Advisory card. Chariot. That's the fastest moving card in the pack. Fastest moving major arcana. So we've got 2 of the fastest moving cards here. There's definitely a job to be done, and it's not going away. And then the Fool is another advisory card. Clarification cards is in the public eye. 6 of Wands, yet, and another one. That came up for Boris again, didn't it? The heartbreak. No going back. Can't go back and make the past okay again. It's happened. Right, so I'm going to take this down and I'm going to show you I'm going to read it. So this is how it's looking. These are the cards that fell out. This card also is represents municipal buildings. So that can be Parliament, very easily be Parliament. So there were deals being done. It was a group effort. It was a collaboration of people within Parliament. And a lot of dark, dark secrets in that Parliament. A lot of dark secrets, which are going to come out very quickly now. And the messenger has arrived. The messenger is going to tell us what needs to come out, going to reveal the secrets. And this may have been in its heyday during COVID, but it's now coming to the end, very much at the end, on its last legs. They don't have any power anymore. They don't have any strength anymore. This one, I'm not sure yet what this is, how this fits. So I'm going to reserve judgment on that. This is really, really clear though. So now we're looking at what Matt Hancock did. We're looking at the context. The context is this card comes up. In this context, it's purely about the abuse of power. The abuse of power of those in authority, which happens with government ministers, it happens with religious figures, it happens with heads of people in positions of leadership in schools, people that work with children, the abuse that goes on. Not all people that work with children, don't get me wrong. People in positions of power, the abuse of power. Conditions is the heartbreak that speaks for itself. So these 3 cards are mapping out what we're talking about, the context and what we're talking about. Now we go to the King of Wands. So the King of Wands, wands are about truth and integrity, and this is about the past. We're not talking about the far past, we're talking about the immediate past. So there are people now in leadership positions that actually want the truth to come out, and they're quite solid with that. And I think there's somebody overseeing this. The King of Wands oversees projects. They're kind of like, they have the ideas and then they delegate for those ideas and projects to come to fruition. And wands signify new life, new ideas, new projects. So there's a new form of overall leadership going on somewhere, not necessarily with the present government ministers, not necessarily with King Charles, but there's a new what's the word? There's a new leadership basically overseeing things. That's what this is. And the person in the public eye is Matt Hancock. The people in the public eye are the politicians that were part of this. So this is in the public eye. Okay, now he may have been seeking approval, public approval, and it's certainly, the article talks about how he was motivated by being praised for being having rigorous COVID policies, him and his cronies. So this, I think this is him previously riding the in public, looking the arrogance, the aggrandizement of the man, and those that were part of that, the government policy and part of the parliamentary decisions. So I see this in this instance. Normally, this is a victory, but I see this more as an. He can also be very arrogant, and this is can be a card that expresses the ego, the arrogant ego. This is what they're looking for: public accolade for being tough on COVID and pats on the back. That's what he was hoping for. But the reality is this. The reality is that Project Fear has put people in this situation where there's no going back. There's absolutely no going back. When you've lost somebody as a result of COVID, when you've lost somebody as a result of them committing suicide, because the bombarding of the media put them in a state where they didn't want to live anymore, and they go and kill themselves, you can't bring those people back. So the way it was handled has caused these cups of love is now turned to heartbreak, too much heartbreak for those that were left, those that are grieving the loss of their loved ones. That's all they can see. So this person here represents either a collective of people or one person overseeing it all, but certainly a new kind of leadership, because ones are about truth and integrity. Now then, the outcome, temperance. I see this as an attempt to heal. I see this as an attempt to also temper the impact of what the media was like, to bring some balance back into media, what the public are told by the media. I'm going to switch off and come back. We're on 8 minutes 30 now. Right, so we're on episode 3 now. I'm so sorry I have to do this. I'm so sorry. At some point I won't have to do it. So this card as the outcome is that there is a massive, it's clear, through now the publicity, the leakages, whatever things are in place to rumble this abuse of power, there's a massive attempt now to temper the information that was put out to the extreme in a fear-mongering manner during COVID. The outcome is that people's extreme fears, extreme versions of what COVID was all about is hopefully going to be tempered by, well, I say hopefully, the outcome says it's going to be tempered. This is a tempering of what the likes of Matt Hancock left in people's awareness about COVID and what it was all about. And there's no time being wasted to do this. The Chariot card is about people of the Chariot card as their archetype are people that are justice seeking, will fight to the very end for justice. They have no fear. They'll get into the Chariot and they'll charge for justice. And this here is a mini Wheel of Fortune. And that mini Wheel of Fortune is basically this is what this is doing. This whole situation where the leakages have happened now, and even the Daily Telegraph is I've had a look on the various other news items that they were reporting on, and quite a good few damning headlines in the Telegraph of the articles that the journalists have been making, and calling it out for what many of us were already calling out at the time. So this Chariot it's got a job to do, and he's not stopping until he gets that job done, just the same as the Knight of Swords. Truth-seeking, justice-wielding Knight of Swords, and the Chariot is bringing in the big boys now, the heavies. That Chariot's not going anywhere except for in the direction of truth and to put right the injustice and to try and turn the wheel of fortune, the fate, into the direction of balance, to balance out people's faulty, misguided knowledge that they were fed by all that fear-mongering and bombarding of propaganda in the news. So this is very much about righting wrongs and fighting for justice. And people with chariot archetypes also are determined, and they're focused, and they don't let up until they actually get where they intended to get. And then the other advisory card is that we're on the dawn of a new cycle, a new way. We're on the dawn, and this is also challenging people to start relying on themselves. The Fool steps off onto a journey without knowing, necessarily having a map, and without knowing what's going to come. But the Fool knows that inside him or her, with the life experiences and the soul experiences from incarnation after incarnation, they have everything they need. And that little bag there at the end of a stick is symbolic of having your bag of tools to help you to navigate yourself on your journey. So we're with this Chariot and with the Knight of Swords and with this whole energy to expose publicly the truth and the reality, the dark secrets and the abuse of power. With all of that comes the tempering of the extreme fear and extreme fearful opinions and information that had lodged in people's minds, and the beginning of a new a new way of going forward, basically, where people start to rely on their own intuition. They start to rely on their own inner soul wisdom and their own wisdom from their life they've lived. So they don't forget about that in favour of what they're being told by some corrupt politician. They actually dig into themselves and they steer themselves through their life without needing to know what the rules are, without needing to be following a roadmap set out for them by somebody else. So in a nutshell, that's that. I'm going to... Hang on a minute. I'm going to do some clarification cards. Try and get this on. There we are. Okay, I'm going to do some clarification cards now. When I pick this up, the card on the bottom is this. This is smoke and mirrors. This is when people are being conned. The sleight of hand of the magician. The media, when they lie and they present propaganda, this is the card that is relevant to that. So it's interesting that that should be on the bottom of the pack. I'm going to shuffle more. Okay, so I want a clarification card for the Queen of Pentacles, please. I'm not sure what that one's there for, but it'll be there for a reason. Clarification card for the Queen of Pentacles, please. I'm going to shuffle 3 more times. Cards flip out if you need to flip out. I'm going to cut now. Clarification cards, 3 clarification cards. The Queen of Pentacles. Queen of Wands. We've got the King of Wands here. Right, okay. The Moon. Oh my gosh, the Moon. Secrets. The Moon and the High Priestess totally connect together. And the Moon also refers to, can be a card that refers to people passing over, dying. So for the sake of truth and integrity, there's definitely a strong alliance of people now who want truth. And they want the truth exposed for the sake of truth and integrity. And this little cat here is intuition, represents intuition. It's intuition that the fool uses, and his what's the word? The knowledge he's gained from his life journey and his incarnations. Okay, so we've got that, and then the next one is, yeah, I'm seeing it from the opposite direction to the way that we were told to see it. This ties in with this temperance. See, the water gets poured upside down, then it gets poured into here, and then it's tapped back upside down again, and it's being poured. And people are going to be given the information that they need in order to start realizing and seeing it from a different angle and expanding their awareness. See, he's got his awareness, the angel, the wisdom and awareness developing here. I'm going to switch this off. We're on 8 minutes. I'm going to come back on in a minute. I'm back again. So this is the third, episode 3 now, I think. So yes, this is really interesting because these two mirror each other, and these two together, I think these two make a whole. Okay, so with the pouring, this is very alchemical. People are going to start literally changing. This information is going to jolt some massive changes in people. People are going to actually go into a kind of, this is where the hangman is kind of crystal. It's a chrysalis, and in that chrysalis, the hanged man gains knowledge and insight and expanded awareness, and this is going to be what the outcome is. That people are going to now start sifting and sorting and how can I put it? Sorting the information that they were given, and in the way that the alchemist plays with liquids, gases, solids, to hone and to refine and refine and refine to get the purest substance. This is what we're going to be doing naturally as a result of this coming out. So we're going to start striving for the purest information on this, the purest knowledge, and we're going to be put in a position where, you know, from 1 minute the scare tactics are completely believable. The next minute, those scare tactics are being turned on the head, and we're being told that they were just tactics. Everything's upside down from what many people believe it was, as a result of the propaganda during COVID and that Project Fear that Hancock and his cronies. Were there not 3 of them as well? Hancock, Valence, and Whitty. Oh my God! Yeah. So sorry. There we go. That's what these 3 are about as well. The three plotting, and the 3 causing heartbreak with their Project Fear, basically. So that's really interesting to me. That either way, people are not going to escape evolving to the point where they start to trust themselves and themselves only. I know what this is about as well. She's about sovereignty. Okay, she's also the Queen of Pentacles, health. There's going to be a lot of focus on helping people regain their health. There's going to be developments in healing modalities that are going to be looked at, are going to be focused on, because it's going to be needed. And as we know, the NHS is just falling apart. I've got a friend who had a scan on her liver because she was in a critical situation in hospital. She had a scan on her liver. The doctor got back to her and told her that she's got a cyst on her liver and nothing he can do. She had to actually bang on the door, and it took 2 weeks. She's not seen anybody in response to that scan information of the cyst being on her liver. She's going to have to wait 2 weeks, and she can only get a telephone appointment. They haven't done a biopsy of the cyst. They haven't gone in. They've just done a scan. And if she'd have allowed them, the doctor wouldn't have given her an appointment because he said there's nothing they can do. So there's clearly a need for the sovereignty of the people to be recognised, for healing modalities, and for the health of the people to be, people's health to be absolutely focused on. So through that, and that's going to be steered by truth and integrity, there are going to also be healing modalities that would appear a bit woo-woo, are more evolved, let's say more evolved, come from not from the sources we've known healing modalities from up to now. So they're going to maybe appear a bit kind of woo-woo, but they're going to emerge, and there's going to be a need. They've been kept secret. There's been many ways in which people can be healed that have been kept secret. So this is also, because this card, like the High Priestess, is about secrets, it can indicate passing over and death, which is what this relates to in this reading. But it can also indicate accessing secrets. And there are certainly many secrets in terms of how to heal people that have been kept from the public and kept from the NHS. Well, the NHS hasn't utilised them. Okay, so everything is going to be turned on its head. Everything that people thought was one way, they're going to be looking at it from a different vantage point, but it's going to expand their consciousness. It's going to cause us to grow in knowledge, and it's going to cause us to, go into like a chrysalis type situation where we are consolidating and assimilating this new information to emerge more confidently as a fool who isn't a fool. Okay, the fool is wise, and the fool draws on his own knowledge and wisdom to chart his path through life. But that's amazing. We've got the Hierophant. It's just so self-explanatory, all of it. So yeah, what's going to happen to Matt Hancock? It's not really indicated, has it? I'm going to ask the angel answers. Can you tell us what is going to happen to Matt Hancock as a result of him being exposed now with Project Fear? What is going to happen to Matt Hancock? I'm going to shuffle the cards 3 times. That says compromise. Don't like the sound of that. Compromise. Anyway. Can you give more information on this compromise card? What is going to happen to Matt Hancock? Oh, he's in a compromised position maybe? Well, let's see. Don't want to make it up. Tell me more. Can you clarify this compromise card, please? 3 shuffles, and then I'm going to cut the cards. Oh, romance. I'm not buying that. Can you clarify romance for me, please? Maybe these are not the ones to ask. Compromise, romance. Oh, he had a romance, didn't he? He had an affair. Maybe that's what this is about. We're on 8 minutes. I'm going to switch off. I'll be back in a minute. Right, back. He had an affair. He had a romance, didn't he? He was found in a compromising position and situation as a result of the romance that he had. So the cards are telling us more things, not giving me a direct answer to my question. Right, can you clarify more on that, please? Compromise and romance, can you clarify more? Oh, for God's sake, it says wait. Don't want to wait. I want to find out what's going to happen. Wait. Can you tell me the wisdom involved in that answer, please? The wait answer. It says yes. Yeah, it can tell me the wisdom. So please tell me the wisdom. Thank you very much. What is the wisdom in waiting for an answer regarding Matt Hancock? Splitting the cards. No need to worry. Okay. I want a bit more. I'm going to do these Oracle of the Roses. They have one words like the flirt, the healer, the mother, the lover, the ruler. Let's see what these say. Can you give me a card to comment on the situation with Matt Hancock having been exposed for his Project Fear? What can the Rose Oracle tell us about the consequences for Matt Hancock in having been exposed for his Project Fear? I'm going to shuffle 3 more times and then I'm going to pull the cards. The Ancestor. The Ancestor. I'm not sure what that means in terms of where that fits in. Karmic. The Ancestor. Okay, this is karmic situation. I'm going to ask these cards. Can you confirm with this Ancestor card, are we talking about a karmic situation here? Is karma playing itself, playing its way out, itself out? The Chariot's a karma card as well, actually. Can you tell me? Can you give me some insight on what's meant by the Ancestor for this? Is this a karmic? Is this in relation to various karmic contracts, past life karmic contracts coming to a head? Got the 6 of Pentacles, the Knight of Wands, and the 8 of Cups. But what does that mean? I ask myself. What are the cards telling us on that one? Let me have a look. Settling the score, that's what I get. Settling the score. Knight of Wands is an action card. It's not as fast as this action card, but it's an action card. It's faster than the Knight of Cups and the Knight of Pentacles. Taking action on settling the score so that this the moon there's a lot of moon symbology with the High Priestess as well, so that we can have done with this issue. We can walk away. We can leave this in the past. We don't need to keep having lessons like this as a collective. So this is about evening the score, basically karma. Yeah, balancing out karma. So 6 is divided by between 3, isn't it? 3 and 3. So evening the score, negating the karma, taking action on evening the score and negating the karma, the collective karma for us all, and walking away from that, leaving that in the past, leaving that behind, moving on. That's what that means. Okay, so this is a group collective karmic lesson for us all. That's what I think. Wonder what the Sacred Oracle, just a little word from the Sacred Oracle. Sacred Rebels Oracle cards here. Let's see if we've got a... and I'll do the soul journey as well. Okay, Sacred Rebels. What can you tell us? What would you like to comment on this situation, this issue, as regards Matt Hancock and the exposure now that has been regarding his intention for Project Fear? Can you give me a card to just sum up where we're at? We know it was a karmic contract. We know that being exposed now, we're at a point where the score is evened and we move away from having to deal with this kind of stuff. We are going to leave a lot of things in the past and move forward with a healthier future. What's going to come up? Ha! Inner trust. It has absolutely been a soul lesson on us establishing inner trust and not referring to these bastards in government to give us a sense of trust, trusting ourselves, inner trust. That is what it's all about. If we trust ourselves, we're not afeared of what we're told is outside, and we're not prey to being lied to and for Project Fear to take a hold. If we had inner trust, we wouldn't have been rocked by Project Fear. Project Fear would have appeared to be as ludicrous as it was. And this geezer has inner trust in his bag of tools, his toolkit of resources from his life's journey, and taking heed from that, he has trust. I'm going to switch this off and put it on again. So, inner trust. That's what the lesson is, our karmic lesson. Inner trust, trusting ourselves, trusting our health, trusting our ability to heal ourselves, trusting our intuition, our wisdom, trusting our intuition, our wisdom. We're all old souls. We have got to be, even the younger souls are older than day one. None of us, as a soul, as incarnated for the first time now in 2023, first ever time on earth. We are all enough as a collective old souls. So inner trust, be the fool in our life, trust ourselves, trust our soul's journey, trust our soul's wisdom. Don't let some fucker in government do a Project Fear on us. That's what that's about. Soul journey lesson cards. I'm interested to see what comes up with that. Confirms, reconfirms, or what it adds to the inquiry. So what can these what soul journey lesson cards would like to come out here? Soul journey lesson card. What would you like to tell us to add to inner trust? What's your comment? What's your final say? I'm going to shuffle 3 more times, and then I'm going to cut the cards If you need to flip out, do so. Inner trust. Inner trust, that's what it's about. Regret. A lot of regret going on. Regret. This is about the lesson of regret. Regretting not having inner trust. How interesting. I know that I cannot change the past. But we can move forward. I want another card to take us forward. Might not be able to change the past, but we can transmute the past. We can transmute the past in the manner we go forward. Let's see what that has to say. Which card can take us forward? Which card can help us move forward now? Which soul lesson do we need to tune into to help us move forward from this? Because we are going to move forward, and we are going to not be blighted by this for the rest of our lives. Three more shuffles. Flip out if you need to. Not flipped out. Okay. Health. I will honour the physical vessel that enshrines my soul. Okay. Which is what she's about in regard to the Pentacles being about health as well as resources in the earth. Health. I will honour the physical vessel that enshrines my soul and never, ever, ever doubt the strength of your soul. I think we'll leave it there. Especially given that this has been about health and what Matt Hancock did to the health of the nation and his cronies. Not just Matt Hancock. He was part of it. It didn't begin and end with him, obviously. Okay, I'm going to go now. But yeah. Inner trust. Health. I will honour the physical vessel that enshrines my soul and never, ever, ever doubt the strength and power of your soul to step out, trusting yourself in the direction that your tool bag and your soul's journey, incarnation after incarnation, has given you the wisdom to use to chart your path forward. That's what that's about. Wow. All right. I know it was a bit heavy, this one, and I'm sorry that, you know, it's about, it made me cry when I read that article in the Daily Telegraph, but it needs to be looked at, and it needs to be explored, and it needs to be acknowledged, because, you know, how many people are going to have to live with the reality of what Project Fear did. So yes, anyway, moving forward, we take the lessons, and this is where ancestors came in. It's this card, this Oracle deck's way of saying karma, karmic lessons, inner trust, and remember, our physical vessel that surrounds our soul is sacred, and the health of it is everything. And health, in a way, that comes from the wisdom gained by that. Right, I'm going to go now. Well done. Thanks for sticking with it. If you've watched all of these, I know it's a bit more heavy. Bye. See you soon. Bye.